Yeah.
I'm going to read what arrow means from the symbology book that we've really been enjoying because of this Sag eclipse that we just went through that we're all still feeling. And I personally love the iconography of the bow and arrow for Sag. I think it brings up a lot for me. So, arrow, the piercing masculine principle, penetration, phallic, lightning, rain, fecundity, virility, power, war. A flight of arrows symbolizes ascent into the celestial. Arrows loosened from a bow represent the consequences of actions which cannot be recalled or revoked. The arrow, as with the lance and sword, is a solar symbol depicting the sun's rays, also the attribute of a warrior. An arrow piercing a serpent is the sun's rays piercing the dark clouds of the humid principle. Aye, aye. I really feel like I've been using that metaphor for a couple of years. I feel like I'm pulling back my bow.
Someone told us that. I can't remember
Weston.
who. No. Before we even knew you. You were even a glimmer in our eye. Somebody who kind of speaks the same language as you was over here in 2018. And, they were like, oh, right now the bow's being, pulled back. And we're like, when does this fucker release? And they were like, 2022. At the time, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But it's been true.
Yeah.
It's been true.
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday. It's like this investment that we continue to do is like setting ourselves up for this like future us.
Yeah.
That's bathing in the sunlight.
Yeah. And I think the Sagittarius season brings the forest through the trees. The path opens up. You can start to see the view at which you want to go towards. You start to see the road. You start to see the path. And then this fiery, passionate excitement can enter. I love that. And then this Capricorn energy that we're in is the ground that you get to fucking stand on and travel to actually reach this destination. It's giving us all of this sexiness around work and, earthiness and playing with the material realms that it supports us in all of our other elemental ventures.
Ooh. Damn, what are our elemental ventures? It sounds fucking great.
Well, I've really liked thinking about how like the different years or different elements, the different signs or different elements, we are composed individually of our astrological makeup is like you're like more balanced and when I realized like, oh, I like am lacking in fire, but that's why I like to have fire outside of myself. Like it's a necessary, like Sean being a little more fire, Sag moon or whatever it is, like, and you being more fire helps me. Like I need you, you know what I mean? Like we need this so that there's balance in my own life, because where I can't internally balance, there's an external balance that you kind of alchemy,
Definitely. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of that you stole from my head. And it doesn't have to just be with plants and drugs. Like you said, with people, it can be the biggest alchemy in your life because, of course, the people that you're with, you're going to attune to and they're going to affect your life and influence you. And
absolutely. More than anything, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, who you're around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really psyched we met your parents.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild. It's bonkers.
It's bonkers because, we've been together, 12, 13 months. And I feel like when we first met you, the idea that we'd ever meet your parents, even if we stayed together forever.
Yeah. It was crazy.
It was crazy.
I was going to say, even you meeting my parents, just me being around my parents, I always think is bonkers.
That in itself.
But the most bonkers part about it, y'all, was that I had so much fun.
Yeah.
Like I voluntarily hung out with my mom for basically an entire day.
Yeah.
Which was way above my expectation or her expectation, I think. And we really found, speaking of ground to stand on, some relationship ground to stand on where we can have fun and play with each other. And it doesn't turn into an absolute underworld dance,
Yeah. It's crazy because being in the presence of both of you, I'm like, I can't picture you guys having this deep conflict, but the way you describe your upbringing and everything, I do start to understand it.
She has a Cancer moon. Don't forget, she's a part of our friendship club. And because it is funny and I kind of for some reason think about that whenever I think about why we connect on any level, because it's like the one part of our chart that's very similar, because otherwise she's just all Aquarius. Yeah, we can have so much fun. And I think, the more as I age, I realize how much of her is in me, obviously. Yeah, but I mean, she's also just a completely different person.
Yeah.
And she's aware of that, and will like credit a lot of it to raising me and me putting her in the inferno.
Yeah.
But even y'all, I'll speak a little bit to like she was going through a bunch of medical stuff, not just speaking of like the conflict between us, where she had this psoriasis that I had like super glue on her hands, on her feet every day, and she had to wear these boots at night, and she had rheumatoid arthritis, and just a bunch of, she has a ton of fire and anger energy that she was getting out at one point, and then she wasn't getting it out as much, and then it manifested into these illnesses for her. And then she really went towards yoga and started going every day, and went back to church, and just focused more on prayer and meditation, and all of those things completely went away.
Wow.
And she's been able to show up better for our relationship. And the last time that I saw her, which was 2 years ago, for a 24-hour period, which turned into a crazy fight. Because we had been okay for a couple of years before that, just over the phone and stuff. And I thought we were doing good. And I think that was kind of like a necessary last exodus. The last ugly heads of our power dynamic that had to rear to really sort out that like that wasn't how we were going to relate to each other.
Yeah.
We were both like,
Yeah.
yeah, for that to be a healthy part of our dynamic. And now that that's off the table, it's fun. You know what I mean? Like once the power dynamic leaves the room, it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's like a lot of things. Like, I mean, this is a dramatic turn of events, because when we met you, you weren't speaking to your parents really at all. They were like, your parents and your brother were like blocked.
That's true. They were blocked on my phone. Yeah.
Listen to our first podcast with Mare called Child of Chaos, and you'll get a lot of context for this.
Yeah.
And you will see how much of a miracle it is that what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, and beyond Sean being, as you like to say, assertive of like, it's lame that you don't have a relationship with your parents no matter what you've been through, which, when he was saying it, I was like, oh, Sean, I don't know if you should be saying that.
It wasn't me.
But beyond that, I kind of like to take a little credit of like you having so much love in your life. Not like relationships are reparenting, but they are in a different way. It's like you have a different relationship to the feminine, you have a different relationship to the masculine, feeling like more loved and held in the universe, where you could feel, I'm speaking for you just because I want to take credit for it in some ways, in some capacity, on some level of this, but I think that it allows you to not be so resentful of the places that your mom didn't give you love. Because when you have love in your life, and that's why community is so important. That's why seeking out these, flowing with the energy of life, and seeking places where you can find love, where you can have chosen mothers, chosen fathers, chosen brothers and sisters. And as you fill your heart and feel like complete and safe in this universe, those people who have wronged you, you can have more spaciousness and compassion for how they show up in your life, right?
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of bow being pulled back and arrow getting released. This does feel to me like, in terms of us as a Trinity, Infinity, beautiful triad that wants to do lots of things together in this life, it feels like the last step before we really fucking fire the arrow into the universe. Is like, somehow I have a good relationship with my parents. Yeah. Cass, of course, does. You know, she's an only child. You kind of came from a similar situation that I did, and I'm just a little bit further along in my thing. So I've kind of just shot back some wisdom at you. Like, I know your mom's fucked up, but so was my dad. And the joke was on me holding him out. And like, I don't know. It just feels like that meeting with your parents, it's just like, we can fucking let that arrow fly now. And like, we just have so much support, and like, all three of our parents approve of this shit. And not only just approve of it.
I love it.
My parents would lose their minds if we fucked this up. Your mom would be so mad.
I know.
They've never liked anyone I've dated or been excited to meet anybody. So.
Oh yeah? Do you think they like us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom is similar to me, as it's not very good at lying.
Yeah.
So my theory, my plan for this was like, all right, Sean will go down there for like the first 2 years of our relationship, and you'll be like, I'm dating this guy, and then 2 years and then 2 years later, like I'll start going to family events, and you'll be like, oh, I ditched Sean, but he's kind of still in my life in some ways, but now I'm dating this girl, Cass, and that's like we could both get into the family, but just kind of consecutively, not
Cass
concurrently.
too.
Yeah, no, there is so much. I mean, I've trained them well. I will credit myself for that as well. We've had such a I've been so out there about how I wasn't going to be into the things that they were into, and so anti-traditionalist. It's like, I think at this point they really just want me to be happy. And again, I've kind of talked about them with Aquarius with this dual rulership. Like, yes, they're Saturn. Like, they both are clearly like these embodiments of Saturn, but they have this little Uranian, like, they're obsessed with the arts. That's what they spend most of their time doing, is investing in artists. And I think they love it. Like, I think they love that I'm doing something weird and different, and it's so exciting to them. And like, because my mom, like, I remember when I first got successful tattooing, would like so proud to talk to people about it. It wasn't even when I was talking to her, I would just like hear about it, you know. And
she's like, my daughter works at Bang. Yeah. She's the most. She's getting $1,500 an hour or whatever insane rates they charge or whatever.
She saw Miley Cyrus.
She was very proud. Yeah, and so I love that I get to excite that part of them a little bit. This like secret Uranian place that they have in themselves.
I realize how much we have in common with them just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like I realized that right away. I realized we're an art project, the three of us.
Yeah.
And like they were kind of enamored by that.
Yeah.
You know, and it was very interesting. And I knew I had your mom right away because she was trying to win me over. I was like, yes, okay, cool. This is like we're actually coming in here on equal. But like there was not one break in the conversation. Like we could have talked to them, partied with them all fucking night.
Yeah. Well, that's where I found that Mayor cutting them out for 2 years was actually to like call them up again and be like, hey, I'll talk to you, and I have some developments in my life. I'm dating people, like I think that was such a great line. And they're like, people.
Okay.
I'm in a serious relationship with some people. And they're like, are they trans? Like, what is this? No, multiple people.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They.
Yeah. No, they were good, and they didn't ask any weird questions. My mom got drunk. It was like, you guys really, I was like, perfect. You got to like really experience them, in all their glory.
Yeah, to me, your mom didn't seem drunk. Like you obviously know her a lot better. To me, your dad, there was a little bit more like the second he had a second glass of wine, I was like, oh, there you are.
Oh, right? Yeah, he comes out. It's the opposite. Yeah. He like stutters on his words and he starts drinking and he like doesn't. It's so interesting. It kind of like gets himself out of his own way. Yeah. Where my mother's already like this like performative social butterfly, and then she gets drunk and she gets a little bit slow talking and stuff,
Well, I'm glad that they are just drinkers, because if not, I'd be like, man, this relationship's really causing them to drink, because I want to take responsibility for everything.
I know. No, I was glad I informed you guys of that before. Yeah, that was nothing.
He's like, your dad's like, I can look at these partners. Ooh, let me just drink it down.
Just tie one on.
Yeah, we went to Lady Bird. If you live in New York, Lady Bird is my fave vegan restaurant.
Holy shit!
You really need to bring people. That's why I was deprived of not going for a while too, while I was single and not dating. It's because it's a tapas place, so lots of small plates.
Oh my!
We had this artichoke fondue that was amazing.
Holy shit!
An eggplant parm recreation kind of that I guess is now going to be on my docket of recipes I need to make. I really do think I want to try that one for your mom.
Oh, she's never going to let you leave if you do that.
She'll be like, so we are clearing out the basement for you guys to move in.
Sean, I'm looking into it. There is a way you can marry both of them and lock this down.
I love it. Well, there's like, and we're getting a sauna downstairs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. I'm trying to get my parents on that train too. Now it's all of our parents. Yep. We need a sauna in each of the houses.
Exactly. They have houses. They have the space. They have this money. We don't have the space or a house or money. Like, have a sauna.
And they want us to hang out more. It's like easy solutions, guys.
Easy solution. Just put a sauna up and we will be there. And that goes for anyone listening to this, really.
That's true. That is an easy way to become our good friend.
It's an easy way to become our chosen parents.
We may be using you for hot steam, but
No, I love what you said too about like parenting and stuff. And obviously, you having Venus in Cancer, you have the way that you want to express love is in this motherly way. And I think, like, God damn it, is there such a need for that in the universe? Like, mother energy that isn't your biological mother. And God damn it, did I need that from the people that gave it to me when I didn't get it, you know?
Yeah.
And just like you said, opened up space for me to even come back to my real mother and be like, I don't actually need anything from her. Like, she really supported me, and now this can be like a different thing.
Now she needs you to be her mother. Like, this is what you start to realize. Like, you'll get into those. We're a little further along in years-wise with our parents, and like, you're going to be their parents very soon. It's like,
oh yeah. I mean, she was saying that I was raising her a long time ago too.
Yeah.
You know, she had the unfortunate thing of losing her mother when she was 12, and so mother to her is there's a lot with it. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot with it, and so I carried a lot with it. And as we say this, fucking Venus and Cancer card was on the bottom.
Are you serious? I just cut the deck right to that? That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, should we pull a card today? Should we pull a card tomorrow? I don't know.
I pull a card every day.
We talked about the sun with the arrow, and this is the sun deck. So
okay,
our
you want
sun
to pull
is
one?
in Sagittarius. Let's pull one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you guys going to want to read about this?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'll just intuit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary knows enough.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We love fucking doing this. Like, let's get fucking real. And if you love it, join us for more on patreon.com/churchofchill. I hate to shout that out every day, but I never know when someone's just randomly tuning in, and so many people have said like, I didn't know you guys had a Discord. I would have been on there this whole time.
Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, that's the best. It's really gotten good.
Yeah, especially during these winter hibernation months where you're not out as much socializing with people.
I love I go on there and I see people talking in the video chat, and I'm like, I'm tempted to go in there, but like, I don't want to interrupt, you know.
Maybe tomorrow we can, or not tomorrow, on Sunday, whenever Sunday rolls around, we can do a video, a live one or something.
I know we keep talking shit about doing it, but we will.
But I really do want to do it.
Yeah.
It's not because we don't want to do it that it hasn't happened.
Well, you have to be on our patreon.com/churchofchill to even know about that. Well, I pulled the inspiration card, number 12.
I love it. Venus and Pisces.
I think it was Mercury.
Mercury.
There it is.
I couldn't.
Do you want to take a look?
It is Mercury. Ooh, I love her dress.
What's this mean? We're all gonna die?
We have a.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect number 3. Well, I think inspiration during these. Inspiration, just like we were talking about with fire and pulling back your arrow. I think the arrow is inspiration. And Cass and I were trying to figure out the order of the elements, because I do think there is in creation between fire, water, earth, and air. And maybe in the comments you can say what you think it is. Because sometimes I think it's first there's fire.
Yes, that's what I think.
What do you think, Cass?
Well,
she thinks first there was air.
There's air.
But I know that I'm wrong intellectually, because like there's not air out there, but I think of air as space.
Okay.
To me, air is space, you know?
Well, and if you're thinking physics-wise, fire obviously needs air to exist.
Yeah, I mean, everything needs air. Everything needs air.
So then air, fire, earth, water.
That's what I thought. That's my theory.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Inspiration to me, even though this isn't a water sign, and I think sometimes we think about water as being very inspirational because that's obviously the emotional field, and that's where we drive a lot of our ideas and stuff from. It also takes that balance of fire to get it going, and of course too much water can put out a fire. So I think during this fire time, it's exciting that with our inspirations we just have a little bit more in the engine.
Well, you got to use Mars's day, Tuesday. You know, this is the day to really get the engines revving.
Yeah, Mars is still in Scorp, still in that receptive water sign. So yeah.
Receive your inspiration.
Receive your inspiration.
It's that time again.
Yeah, because that's really what it is about too, especially with these, like with Pisces, that's what I think about, like inspiration. Sometimes we think about as original conception, but it really is a letting into all of this incredibleness that's happening. Ooh. You let some of it in.
Inspiration moves me brightly. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.
For Wake and Bake Wednesday.
Wake and Bake Wednesday. See you then. Trinity Infinity is to come up. Thank you.